you want some more? I said, welcome to the mic check show. I said, welcome to the mic check show. I said, welcome to the mic check show.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Suave, also known as ShantiDaGoat.
And it's your boy SimbaTheSpeaker, also known as the Nigerian Prince, a.k.a. Mr. Gedix.
And today we have a very special guest.
My boy here. Hey, look, I want you to introduce yourself. Tell them who you are, where you're from, what you do.
You already know it's your boy, Mr. Addiction, Mr. Do It All. I do everything, literally. From Broward County. Well, I'm actually from Haiti. Let's start with that. Born in Haiti, raised in, America, Florida, Broward County. Yeah, Mr. Addiction.
So when it comes to entrepreneurship, because I know you've been doing this for a while, man. What was like the first type of entrepreneurship you've done?
My first type of entrepreneurship was actually, I used to cut grass. It's crazy. So in my neighborhood, two of my homeboys, they had like their parents' grass was always like the best grass in the neighborhood. And I don't know, like one time I got in trouble and, they called the cops type stuff. And then the cops was like, why don't you, find something to do with your life? And I'm like, damn, I'm like barely 10. Like, what you mean? Like, like I am like living my life. Like, I'm doing nothing. But, then I realized I'm like, I got these two friends whose grass is always looking good. And, they had the lawnmower machines and all of that. So I was like, yo, let's start a grass mowing company. And they fell for it. And we became, like it was easy to get jobs because people in the neighborhood, they see young people like knocking on their door. Hey, I'll do your grass for $20. That was unheard of. And, they fell for it. So that was actually really my first like entrepreneurship venture, to be honest. Like I really had a whole grass, mowing company. It was weird. And so I was young.
You were 10 at that time?
I was probably in middle school.
Middle school.
So whatever age that is, like probably like 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade.
Ah, okay.
What would you say, and if you don't mind me asking, what would you say at that time, around that age, I was bringing in like a month from the grass cutting?
To be honest, like I was so young, it wasn't really no keeping track of anything. Like I just knew like we had like one whole block at one point, so it was working, so you kind of see that you start with like doing one house to like doing the whole block, and you're like, damn, you feel like you're the man. And you so young, like you don't really, I don't even know how we split the money, to be honest. I just know I had the idea, they had the machine. We came together, it started a business. I was young as hell. And it's just like, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know what we was making. I know it's $20 for if you just want the front. I think we did like 40 for the front and back. It was cheaper than the regular people was charging regardless.
Facts.
So, whatever we was making, like we probably, we was really mostly working on weekends, to be honest. We're kids, we have schools during the weekday. So, you do the math, 20 or 40, maybe an average of $30 times, whatever amount of house. So I don't know the exact number, but we was hustling.
Facts. Do you recall your first entrepreneur endeavor in which like you were actually keeping track and you're like, damn, like this shit works?
Oh, the clothing brand
Facts.
Definitely was one, but I wasn't managing the money that great because I didn't know what I know now. So it's like I didn't know, you get stuff in bulk, you get it cheaper. So I was getting finessed out. Shit, I was just getting finessed. Damn. So it's like, what you don't know is going to cost you for sure.
Facts.
So I educated myself. And as I learned, like, okay, the way to talk to the manufacturers, you could kind of finesse certain things. And then the bulk order to do things in volume, you make way cheaper, then that increase your profit margin. So the clothing brand, but the one that I really like, was like, damn, this is sweet, was the events. That was the easiest money I ever made.
So how'd you end up like taking it back? Because I know when we start talking about the events, we're really gonna start going in because like that's like one of the big bread and butters. But what made you decide to do a clothing brand? Like, where did that come from?
So the clothing brand, when I was in high school, I was in fashion class. So I was an athlete in high school as well. I did track, I did football. Most people like don't know that. They'd be surprised. But I was a quarterback, crazy thing.
Hey, yo!
I'm fast. I'm really fast. So I was just like the runner. But anyways, I had a fashion class. I was the only guy in the class. Like, I was the only guy in the class. I thought it was cool because I love women. So I was like, damn, like, you know, this class is dope. Like, I'm not even gonna tell other people about this. Like, this is a class with just females. Like,
It's a secret. Like,
I'm out here, like, and you know, but the thing is, what that taught me, to be honest, it was we had to sew everything. So that's when I made my first like piece. I remember I made this custom made piece, and I would bring my stuff to my mom, and she would show her friends, and I remember like they would request that I make stuff for them. I was like, what? And my mom always kind of used to tell me, you know, like, don't really do things for just free all the time, da-da-da. So I was like, wait, hold on. Like, I can make money from this? And then, you know, I started off, you know, cut and sewing things, and I would make custom pieces and stuff. And then, you know, as years go by, I realized, you know, you got to find a different way to go about it. Like, if I had 100 orders, I can custom make everything myself.
Facts.
So then I went to manufacturer routes and, you know, doing more printing and, you know, designing the things and, you know, having designers and then, you know, outsourcing.
Did you have any guidance at that time when you were doing like the clothing brand? Like, did you have somebody else that you were looking up to, like that was teaching you the game? Like, hey, go here to go to a manufacturer.
Nah, to be honest, I never had guidance in anything that I did, really. I always just dived in. Like, that's just the type of person I am. I believe, like, if I believe in something or I want to do something, like, I'm just going to do it. So I had zero guidance, but what it is, you know, back then, social media wasn't so hype. So I wasn't, you know, YouTube wasn't so hype. So to be honest, I was doing things, I felt like I did a lot of things where, like, I was kind of, I wouldn't say I was the first person that did it, but there wasn't that much people doing it to the point that I could find information about a lot of things. So it's just like I dove in and I just figured a lot of things out. But there was, like, other people that, you know, kind of started doing the same thing. So I would ask them, like, hey, you know, like, manufacturers. And to be honest, people don't share their plug.
Yeah.
Own plug.
At all.
People don't share the plug, man.
So what kind of feedback did you get when you first started the clothing brand? Did anybody like tell you like, oh, this is not going to work out, or were they more so supportive and stuff?
For me, to be honest, anybody who know me know, like, if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna work. So out of people, you know, to be honest, my first, like, what really made me like, damn, like, I could do this. I remember I wore my clothes to Sawgrass Mall. I was wearing a shirt, and this lady stopped me. She was like, oh, where'd you get your shirt from? And to be honest, like, the people who don't really know me, of course, like, they're like, man, you gonna have a clothing brand? Like, you're not no famous person. Like, this is not gonna work. Of course, because they don't know me. So they don't know, like, I bet. But that motivates me. So I remember I wore my shirt. This lady was like, oh, where'd you get your shirt from? And I'm looking down. I'm like, damn, I hope she don't start roasting me, because, like, you know, people don't really know you used to, like,
return that shit.
Exactly. So she was like, nah, like, it's dope. Like, I would get it from, like, I want to get one for my grandkid. I'm like, what? I'm like, and this is a white lady too, so I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, like, this is different. So that right there made me just, I went off after that, because I was like, oh, somebody that don't know me, like, find my thing, like, nice. All right, we could definitely do something greater.
You know what's crazy? They always say it's the people the closest around you that won't support you, but the people that really will and will spend that money on your stuff are the people that don't even know you.
I experienced that in every single business venture, from the events. Like, sometimes we have more people come from out of town, to the clothing, even the restaurant. Like, you know, it's just, I think it's easier for people who don't know you to support you, because at the end of the day, like, the people that do know you, sometimes they wish it could have been them.
Facts.
So it's like, it's hard for them to fathom the fact that it's you. You know what I'm saying? So I think really a lot of that is, you know, from hatred and just envious, realistically. But at the end of the day, like, people don't know you. They don't know your story. It's interesting to them.
Fact. Man, that's real.
So right after the clothing, is that where the events came in, or did you have, which one came first?
Timeline. Clothing came first. So to be honest, what
I
it
didn't
was,
know that.
it's crazy. I'll give you guys the full rundown.
Say less.
Clothing came. So the lawnmower thing first. That was just like intro to, like, okay, bet. The clothing was really what got me out there. A lot of people don't know that. Like, so the clothing brand, we did something with what was her name? Damn, I forgot her name. It's actually on the Instagram. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna get back to that. So the clothing, because I also did photography, right? So one time I booked a photographer, he bailed out on me, and I was mad because I had all these models ready to do a photo shoot, and, you know, I'm looking stupid, like, damn, like, they probably thinking, like, this man's not official. I'm like, damn, I hate when people make me look dumb.
Correct.
So I picked up a camera. I was like, okay, bet. I'm going to do my own shoot. So I was like, all right. So I started doing photography. Then that's when I started, meeting a lot of like my homegirls who looked really good. I would just turn random girls to models because it was just easy that way. And then it's crazy. Even after that, then I would train some of those girls that I trained to models to bartenders and bottle girls for my event. So everything kind of worked, its way. The clothing brand got me, like, we did certain photo shoots that went viral. I put certain content that went viral. And I just learned marketing from the clothing brand. So doing events, I got into events because my partner kind of saw what I was doing with the clothing brand. So he's like, wait, hold on. Like, he could probably bring pretty girls to these parties that I'm doing. And that's when the parties really started because, the clothing brand was really already out there. And at that time, to be honest, it wasn't that much. It's not like now where everybody got a clothing brand. Like, I don't even remember the year. It was that long ago. But it wasn't like right now. Like, I was one of the few. So it's like,
Facts.
there wasn't all these brands.
It was a little minute ago. I thought it was around like maybe 2014. It was early though, because you had it for a minute.
Yeah.
You had it for a minute.
You had so when you were doing the clothing brand, that's also when you started doing the bathing suits, or was that after the events?
Okay, bet. So the clothing brand was so we was doing, I started with cut and sew, and I started just printing on stuff. And I remember one time we just printed like Addiction and a certain font. It's just like how Supreme have it, but it was a different font, obviously. And people was buying shirts that just said Addiction. I was like, damn. But that's what made me realize you have to build a brand. It was bigger than me. That's what, made me realize that it's not about Mr. Addiction. It's about addiction. Because if they constantly see addiction, they're going to tie it to me anyway, eventually. So when I started doing parties, that's really when I personally got more out there. Because a lot of people at first didn't even know, like, I was doing that. I was throwing certain parties. But then I guess what it is your crowd kind of want to know, like, who they supporting sometimes. And that's when, like, oh, what is Mr. Addiction Party? Which I don't even like being out there. So then I realized I'm like, oh, okay, it's more personable to people, especially when they, they follow you, they know it's you. They actually support you a little bit harder too, because they got that connection. Like, oh, I know him. And, I go out my events like, Mr. Addiction. I'm like, I don't even know these people. So.
That makes sense. So, okay, so you had the clothing brand, and what was the intro to doing the parties? Like, what was that first party, and how did you get into that, the event game?
So, events.
And what year?
Damn. What year was that? I think one of my first, like, parties that I remember, I wasn't even 21 yet. And I was doing like a birthday party at a club that you had to be 21, but they didn't really care as long as they bar do good.
Facts.
And no, I think before that, we had a party actually before that where the bar did terrible. So the owner was threatening us, like, bro, y'all didn't make no money, like, because the owners, they don't give a damn about nothing but the bar.
Facts.
I didn't know that. So, I'm young, like, so to me, I just care about what my online and my door's making, because, like, that goes to me. The bar goes to you. So I'm not thinking, about the other side of things. But then also that plays a big part of business later on. Sometimes, it's not just about you eating. If the other person not eating too and you using their venue, where you going to go next?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So the parties really made me in terms of entrepreneurship and moving around and stuff like that, because I learned, like, the cutthroat business of it. Entertainment is cutthroat. It's like straight cutthroat. Like, I booked venues before where the owners, like, literally didn't even own the venue for real. And, I go there the day of, like, there's locks on the door. Like, I've learned, I went through everything. I've gotten guns pulled out on me from the, club security themselves because of certain situations. So, like, parties made me a man. I ain't even gonna lie.
Man, it's a dirty game.
Damn.
It's a dirty game.
It's a dirty game.
So who taught you how to throw parties?
Nobody.
Oh, really?
So what it was is, all right, so my partner hit me up, like, I was out of town. He's like, yo, I want you to host my party. I'm like, I don't even know what hosting is. Like, what the hell is that? And then at that time, he's like, I'm going to pay you. I'm like, pay me? Like, I don't know nothing about hosting. So I was out of town, and I remember my mom had hit me up, and she needed some bread. And since I wasn't in town, I'm like, oh, this man just hit me up, offering me some money. So I'm like, I bet. Give my mom the money. I'm a host. I don't even know nothing about hosting. I don't even know what that was. So, coming to find out, hosting is really just promoting realistically.
Facts.
It's not like I had to be on the mic. So, we did, like, the first thing we really did together was just me promoting his stuff. And then I guess, I probably bought some people for sure because, I had the influence from the clothing brand. And, you know, I had all the pretty girls that used to model for me, you know, promoting the event. So basically they became my sub-hosts, basically. So it was like, he got one person and ended up getting 40 promoters, you know? So he probably realized like, oh shit, like this is a good little formula for me. So then we knew each other since high school anyway. So at this point, you know, obviously we're out of high school. I think we're probably in college or something at that point or whatever. So then, you know, the first thing I did with events was hosting. And then after that, you know, I'm the type of person like, you know, I don't want to do little stuff. So like that was it for me. I wasn't even going to do nothing else. And then he kind of saw the effort that I put into that and what I did and, you know, the value I brought in. And it was like, yo, like we should throw a party together.
Dang.
Hey, quick question. Before I ask this next question, so give us a background on the name Addiction.
You know, it's crazy, Addiction. Damn. There's two stories I could go with, but I'm going to go with the camera one, the censored.
Okay, give us a good I would love both, but give us a good camera one.
I'm going to keep it censored. So Addiction, to me, when I was coming up with like a brand name, right? This is the PG for everybody. So what it was for me personally, like on all serious note, is I was just addicted to like hustling, you know? Cause I know when people hear addiction, the connotation is always negative. Like you search it as drugs. So I was like, you know what? Like I'm addicted to hustling. I'm addicted to grinding. Like I came from nothing. Right. So I'm addicted to being successful. I'm addicted to anything that I'm passionate about. So at first I was like, maybe I should name it like, the clothing brand, actually, I was like, maybe I should name it like after my last name, like Dorvillis Fashion Addiction. I was like, nobody knows who Dorvillis is. Like, you know, like, who the fuck's Dorvillis? But, you know, a lot of these big brands are literally the founders' names. Yep. But I didn't know that back then. So to me, it was like DFA. I was like, that sounds kind of cool. DFA. Then I'm like, what's that? DEFA? Like, people gonna probably make fun of it.
But you have to think about stuff like that before you put it out there. So
You do. A lot of people, they don't realize the hardest part is the name. So then I was like, man, F it. Just Addiction. That's it. And that's it.
What was your first big party where you made that big amount and you were just like, damn, I can really make some bread from this?
So everybody knows Pangea in Miami for sure. And a funny story about all of this, the very like first big one, like that had the most like massive amount of people at first, wasn't even really profitable. But it was viral. And I always tell people this, like, to be honest with you, sometimes being viral could make you make money later on. Exactly. So it's okay if you lose the first time. Like, we don't know everything. So that event was chaos. Like, it got shut down. I don't know if any of y'all been to that, like, first step. But the craziest part about that venture and that event particularly was really the fact that people kept supporting us. I was like, this shit crazy. Like, we just really did real life Project X, got shut down, cops, helicopters, all of that. And people still made a commitment to come again. And I learned, I'm like, damn, like if you have a good product or service or whatever it is, and it's fun, it's safe, because nothing bad happened really besides the fact that you probably didn't even last more than an hour because it got shut down within like the first hour. But those first hours was probably the livest moment of your life. So shit, like it kept growing.
They get addicted to that feeling.
That's the addiction.
Did you ever get any big trouble with like cops and stuff coming after you doing those big events?
To be honest, so at first, like a cop don't know it's your party. There's 1,500 plus people, let's say, at that one.
Touche.
What am I going to be like, hey, cop, this is my party. My partner
This is mine, officer.
My partner actually went behind the cop car and stuff before in certain situations with the events. But me, I'm so low-key, bro. I blend in with everybody. So I ain't going to tell you it's me. It's already trouble. Cops is here. Like, while you're here. Like, so I ain't got nothing to say.
Hey, so actually, I want to go to that story about the security putting the gun out on you. Give us the background on how that even came to be, man.
That was just bad business. So the club, we did an event. We keep the door, they keep the bar. I guess the bar wasn't performing how they wanted it to. So out of nowhere, they, you know, like wanted to snatch the cash box from our door girl. So what we did once we realized like the route that this event is going, and that's the thing, like with being an entrepreneur, like you have to be very aware of like every aspect of your business. So once we realized like, damn, like they're mad that the bar's not doing number, but then this door looking good. So we happy, like we're not, caring. So then what we did, we exchanged the cash box when they wasn't looking.
Oh, you snap.
Free game. Don't do this shit though.
Free game, but don't do it. Free game, but don't do it.
That shit was crazy. So anyway, we switched the cash box. Boom. So the main cash box I got. So we put an empty cash box. So usually, you want to do money drops and stuff, so you don't have all your money there the whole time. If you get robbed, like you screwed. So anyways, we switched the cash box. So then I guess they took the cash box, the new one, and they realized like this shit ain't making sense. Like the amount of people here and what's in here. So then now it's where's the money at? I'm like, what do you mean where the money at? The money's in there. Like shit. Like everybody was in free. Like we trying to make up some shit. They're like nah, where's the money at? So then now I'm like, okay, this is about to get left. Like this is about to turn really weird. So then the club owner, calls the security. And then now I'm just trying to leave, like, because I don't like to make situations worse than they are. Because at the end of the day, like, we worked hard and brought the people in. So the door is our money, like we agreed to. But, some people don't do business that way. They don't understand that aspect. So realistically, the club should have took the L and just, okay, don't let me use your club again, or, under certain different conditions, or I got to have a bar guarantee. I didn't have a bar guarantee. So to me, like.
Oh, you came out on top.
Exactly. So anyways, we try to leave, and then the security, like, literally try to strong arm us. Like we can't leave without giving them the money. Boom. The security guard pull a gun out on us. And I'm just there like, whoa, like this shit real, like over a cash box, like mind you, the security's still gonna get paid regardless. So, but they always do what the owners tell them to do, of course.
Facts.
So, they pull out the gun, and and that's the reason, like when you do business, it's always good to do good business, but it's always good to have your crowd on your side. So one of the people that always come to our parties is cool with my other partner. He went in his trunk and pulled out his gun. So now it's just like guns on guns. That was lit though to me, because now I'm looking at it, I'm like,
that's love, yeah.
I'm like, damn. Like, I don't got no gun. But shit, like the homies do. Yeah. And that showed you, like, when you do good business, there's certain, niggas you could let in free because, they hotheads.
Facts.
That showed me, like, damn, like, thank God, like, I do good business and I'm always, on people good side. He pulled out that gun, like, I've been to jail before already. Like, I don't mind going back type shit. And I'm like, oh, God. Like, where you going? This one, I'm like, this between your guns. Like, I don't got no gun.
Gotta sneak to the back just so, okay.
I'm like, y'all figure that shit out. And, the situation eventually de-escalated and whatnot. But that was, probably like one of my scariest situations in the entertainment.
So what's one of those things that you know now about the event throwing game that you wish you would have known when you first started out?
Shit, I wish I knew, like, realistically just how to move. So there's so many ways to it, right? So what it is you have to always have leverage and you have to have value. Once you have leverage and value, you get anything for free in terms of venues, and one thing that I didn't know at first is like you get free venues. Because when I first started, you have to pay for everything. But when I realized the leverage is if you could make a bar do some type of money, because think about it, especially on like a Sunday, right? Most venues don't make that much money on a Sunday. So if you really know the game, you know that. So when I go and talk to you, I'm confident that you ain't making no damn money on a Sunday. How do I know? Simple. Like, I'll drive by your venue like 3 Sundays in a row, right? Just to scope, like, what are y'all doing around 2 a.m.? If I don't see nobody out there, bet I'm going to walk in. There's 10 people in there. You can't tell me you're making money. So then now when I approach you, I already know you're not making money. But this is the funny part. They don't know that you know. So they're going to lie and be like, oh, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is my best days. How? Fridays and Saturdays is usually your best days. Sundays, you don't make no money. I got leverage now.
So let's say you are talking to an owner, you've scoped it out, you realize Sunday is not their good day, but they sitting there trying to like, no, yeah, Sundays are a good day. Would you just then be like, I've seen someone come in, and
right.
How do you kind of still let them know, like, look, I know that you're not making that money. I got that leverage without coming off too disrespectful. Where do you draw that line?
The easiest approach, to be honest, is pull up on a Sunday, buy some drinks, ask for the owner. And you can't lie in person. Like, bro,
Facts.
my one drink is part of your $100 that you just made. So,
that's right.
hey, I supported you, and I'm going to have a great convo with you.
Facts.
I'd do that a month straight. Eventually, you know, at the end of the day, it depends. Like I said, leverage, right? Like, if you're an experienced promoter, let's say, right, you have Eventbrite. I could come and show you my Eventbrite. That look good, right? But now what we have is we have POS system numbers, right? So when we do certain events where, you know, we might, you know, get the bar or whatever, we could pull out the bar numbers. So if I come to you as a promoter, I show you a POS system, a bar making $60,000, you don't want that at your venue?
Facts.
It's leverage. Like,
Facts.
you got to have the leverage. Now, if you're a new promoter, I ain't gonna lie, it's hard as hell to convince someone. But what it is you could convince them, you just might not get it for free. They might say, oh, you got to pay this rental fee, security, and all of that. Now that I know the game, I ain't paying for no regular club. Why?
No need to. So how often do you do contracts with them versus the amount of times you just do word of mouth deals?
So, don't ever do word of mouth deals. That's just dope. Nobody on the word of mouth.
Facts.
So that's a good question, because at first I ain't gonna lie, it's word of mouth. Because like, you know, we young, like we not signing contract. That sounds weird. But as you get older, you realize everything is just on how you structure it, right? So if you have a business, go in there as a businessman. You know, like the club owners are business owners. So if you go in there as a promoter, you're already lost. Because that's the thing. Most promoters, they only know promotion. So you don't know the business side of it. So like me now, I know the business side of it so well. Like I could probably get anything at a better deal than the regular person. Me and you could go through the same door and I get a better deal. Because I know what to say. And, you know, also I have leverage. I have proof. I could go in there with POS, with numbers from the POS system from countless of events. And you're going to see like, oh, wow, he always gets better and better. And, you know, that's the thing. But no, you never do word of mouth deals, because at the end of the day, you know, they're going to tell you by word, hey, your bar makes $2,000, you good. And then now your bar makes $1,900. Now it's a whole problem, but that's really close to $2,000. But, you know, at the end of the day, if that's on paper, either way, somebody's going to have to take the L or somebody's going to have to pay. So you always do contracts. Always do contracts. Make it simple for yourself. Less headache. Do contracts. But you have to know, you know, like me, I've done events and dealt with venues where I structured the contract like our way.
Nice.
That's the thing. Like you like the thing is, you gotta understand, the club usually always make more money than you sometime, because the money is at the bar. So if you structure a stupid deal where it's like, hey, y'all keep the whole bar, I keep the whole door. Now let's think about it, right? If you really have a high, you know, clientele and your bar do really good, your bar go do 60,000. Do you know how much money you have to make at the door? You know, even you're online to make 60,000, like
A lot.
You do the math. I don't know how much you're gonna charge these people, but at a venue that fits 200 people, do the math. Common sense, you'll never make that, right?
Yeah.
So, boom. Now you got the venue made 60. What, your door made 5, your online made 5, you made 10. The venue made 60.
Facts.
So once you know what you bring, the value you bring, now you could hit them with the, okay, after 20,000, I want a certain percentage. I want 10%. After this, I want 20%. So now you're giving yourself, you know, an opportunity to make more money on the back end later on anyway from, you know, without you, they're not seeing those numbers.
Then that's smart. That's definitely smart. So another question I have, because I realized with the events with the clothing line, you mentioned the pretty girls, and we've all been to a couple of events, and we know it's a lot of pretty girls, right?
Yep.
Let's be honest. You're the person throwing the event. You're the head honcho, which for me makes you a high value man, a high value male in a lot of these women's eyes. How well have you handled the professional side of, you know, running the events, as well as still handling that social side of being probably having a lot of women, you know, want to talk to you and, you know, want to, you know, get at you? How is that?
To me, it's easy because at the end of the day, like, I didn't get into it for women.
Facts.
And, like, you know, growing up, my mom, I guess, kind of prepared me for a lot of things that I didn't know, like, she was really preparing me for, you know, and one of them was just, like, you know, to be careful at the end of the day. Like, you know, like, she always kind of told me, like, money and women is, like, the two things that could be my downfall and don't allow it to be. and you don't understand things at that time, you know, when you're younger. But when you get older, you realize, like, you know, damn, like, it's true. But, like, I didn't get into it for that. So I never had issue with none of that, because at the end of the day, like, you know, like I said, I focused on building a brand. So my brand was at first way bigger than me. So most of these people didn't even know it was me.
Facts.
And when they discovered it was me, you know, yeah, like, there is certain distractions, and, you know, people now, it could get very weird. But what I realized is, like, there's a thin line between business and pleasure. As an entrepreneur, like, if you don't keep it business, like, any of my homegirls, like, could testify, like, if I met you on a business term, it's business. Like, I don't care what else you want it to be. It's business. That's what I met you for, you know. And if I met you to have fun or whatever the case is, then, you know, we'll be friends, we'll have fun, whatever. But the reality of it, like, I'm blessed. I think I've been so good at just being balanced. Like, I never let women distract me. Like, but, you know, at the end of the day, like, the right woman definitely could elevate you. But, you know, in the event scene, and, you know, it's crazy thing is I always tell people, like, if you go to my parties, I wouldn't even ever take you serious. So,
Man, that's so interesting.
So earlier you talked about, like, how some people look out for you. So explain to the people how you know the type of people that you let in for free and the type of people that you won't let in for free.
To be honest, I always like to keep it simple. The easiest way to go about it, if you didn't promote, like, you shouldn't be getting it for free.
Facts.
But we all know, and, you know, in this industry, you know, you have certain people that it's almost like their face is always good. Like me, I don't think I've really ever paid to go to a party. But the reality of it is really because, like, you know, I know people and I have resources. So even if I don't know who's throwing it, I might know somebody that knows the person throwing it. So for me, like, you know, that works out for me, even though I don't really party like that. But the thing is, you know, it's you could just go by, you know, whoever was promoting. If you wasn't supporting me, I'm not obligated to lend you in free. But also, like, another way to go about it is, like, you know, certain people, you know, like, they gonna have your back. Like, if something popped up at this party, they gonna fight for me. Like, I don't even gotta get dirty. Of course, I'm gonna let you in for you a hothead. Like, shit, you like my unmarked security. Like, the fuck, like,
Undercover.
You always in free. Like,
Just sneak the fuck out of somebody.
You know, you spray someone in the parking lot for me. Like, you in free every time. Like, shooter. Like, you even gotta promote. Like, you the shooter.
Just keep the gun in the truck, dog.
Like, just make sure you on point every time.
Nah, that's funny. You gotta have those type of people. Shout out to people that support. So I know. Tell us about a time, because I know you probably had a time where people try to get in without supporting and try to make it sound like, you feel me, that was your fault or whatever.
To be honest, part of business is you gotta get some people mad. Like,
Facts.
Just because you follow me doesn't mean I'm obligated to let you in free. And that's why I really always used to try to separate, like, my brand and me, because I just hate dealing with that. And, you know, I think, like, a lot of people don't understand, like, there's certain events we do where it has a crazy budget, like thousands, like not 1,000, like 50,000, 100,000, 150,000. So the reality of it, you know, we're taking a big risk.
Facts.
The risk is not on you. So it's like, imagine you didn't even post my flyer not one time, and now, you know, because you know me from social media, you feel like I'm obligated to let you in. But I'd be like wanting people to understand, like, put yourself in my shoes. If you just put up 150 and you have 2 months to, you know, make it work. If it doesn't work, I'm taking the L by myself. You're going to come and have a good time, and you think I'm going to be happy? Like, I be walking around some of my parties mad as hell, because, like, if I ain't making money, the hell I'm smiling for, you know? But people don't understand that. And how I handle that is just really, I've learned throughout the years, like, it's okay if everybody don't like you. It's okay if everybody, you know, is not supportive of you. But if you don't like me because, you know, I didn't let you in free, I sleep good at night.
Facts.
Like, I'm going to sleep good as hell at night. Because, like, what the hell? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't bother me. And I've realized, you know, at the end of the day, can't keep everybody happy. So, you know, the people that support me is who I'm supposed to keep happy. Because without them, like, you know, there isn't a me. So
Facts. Who gives you most problems at the door, men or women?
Men.
So how do you feel? Because we go through this a lot, especially like throwing events. Is when how do you feel when people come to the door and they're like, "Oh yeah, addiction side, I'm good."
So I have this system, right? With my door girls throughout the years. Like, you know, sometimes they get so familiar with just seeing the same people, they naturally let them in. So I had to have a couple of conversations sometime where I tell them like, hey, you don't know if we're still cool. So imagine you just let,
real
you
shit.
know, my, you know, op in, let's say, you know, I hope I don't got no ops. This ain't that serious. Ain't that type of party. But, you know, imagine, okay, you let somebody in just because you're so used to seeing them, but that person like hates me now.
Facts. Evil intentions.
Exactly. So that's weird. So it's just like, once again, structure. You're running a business. So, hey, you're my door girl. Hey, look, listen, me and so-and-so's not cool no more. So if he come, like, you got to pay. Of course, he's going to come like, hey, like, I'm good, da-da-da. He's going to always try to use that card because, you know, he thinks his face is clean for life. But the reality of it, you have to have that structure and understanding with your staff and your team. And that's why you have security guards. That's why you have cops. All my events, like, we're always on point. Like, we don't cut corners. You know, we invest a lot of money into what we do. So, like, if anything goes out of hand, cop security is always there. So, you know, people's safety is first. So, like, my staff's safety is important. Like, without my staff, like, I can't run this operation.
What was the hardest event for you to throw?
Damn. Shit, all of them is hard. But the outdoor events are way harder than, you know, like the regular events. The brunches, like, is not that hard, like Vivid Brunch for sure, because at the end of the day, like, it's in a club. So, you know, a lot of it, we deal with their system mixed with our system. That's what makes it run smooth. But then when we did, you know, we started doing artists, like we did Honest Fever with Spice last spring break. That was new because I've never dealt with an artist. So the demand, you know, dealing with the artist and then putting the show together is not the same thing as a regular party with 3,000 people. Because at that point, it's just regular people that just want to have fun. Now, you know, when you do certain shows, it's an experience. And even with my regular events, it's still an experience, you know, and I think that's what, you know, made us last so long and made us able to build multiple brands that had 3,000 plus people with no artists. And that's why we got into the lane of like, okay, let's do artists, because we're like, bro, why we doing 3,000 people with no artists? You don't even know who the DJs are really, like, unless you already know them type stuff. And, you know, we just elevated from there. But the hardest events is always the outside events because you got to have permits and it's just the logistics and all of that. You got to, it's so much going on. Imagine you running an operation with 3,000 plus people life. I think just being like a hard worker, I apply that to my personal life because at the end of the day, like, if you're not working hard, you're not going to get things done.
Right.
So, and, you know, people don't see the behind the scenes of what I do. They just, you know, see what I want them to see most of the time when I do post. But, you know, they see the finished product. You being at the event is the finished product. That is not even a half of it. That's not even a quarter of it. So, you know, that's that. Like, it's just working hard and being consistent. Like, that's what really gets you there, and being dedicated. Like, sometimes you don't want to do it. Sometimes I'll book something and I want to back out of it, but I can't. Like, my money's gone. Like, I got to make my money back. And sometimes I do something, I'm like, damn, I'm probably going to lose money, but I can't just lose what think I'm going to lose and just stop there. Sometimes I just got to go through something that I already know I'm done for. But you got to turn it positive. You got to, you know, turn that future loss to like, okay, if I'm going to lose, one thing about me, I'm going to lose in style. Like, if I'm going to lose, like, shit, it's going to look good. You know, like, we've done events with thousands of people and made no money. But guess what? What you think I'm going to do 10 events with thousands of people, no money? No, I'm going to figure out what the hell I did wrong. And then, you know, the next one might hit. But that's part of business. Like, you gotta be ready to take the loss too.
What's one of the biggest L's that you've taken?
God damn, I've took so much L's in business in general. Like, my biggest, like, most useless L's, to be honest, I used to gamble a lot. I'm ashamed to say it.
On parties?
Nah, football.
The bookie.
Like,
I already know
I'll
the bookie.
fly out. See, you got regular local bookies. I don't trust them. Because I'm like, I'm not going to give you 10,000. But I fly to Vegas.
Yep.
Or New Jersey and, you know, gamble 20, 30. Like, it's bad. That was, like, the dumbest thing I've ever done in life. And that was, like, my biggest loss. Now, as far as business, I never look at it as a loss. Like, I've lost, you know, a lot. Like, I've lost a good, cool, like, because, you know, I do stocks, I do crypto, I do everything. So, like, I don't always win. I've lost in events, I've lost in crypto, I've lost in stocks, I've lost in everything that people seen I've done. But I'm still keep going. So I look at it like, if you won before, you could win again.
Facts.
Losing is part of winning. So if you don't know how to lose, you'll never win. And I got to where I got because of my losses. Because I always tell people, like, experience is your best teacher. If I didn't experience what I experienced, if I didn't experience the losses, how am I going to learn to even be able to win? You know, it's the same thing. Like, I used to do, like, mentorships and stuff and, you know, just try to help other people out. And I realized, I'm like, bro, the, you know, honest part of it is, like, you're going to lose. Like, it sucks to lose, especially when you, like, at the top sometime. That's the hardest losses. But the thing is, what I realize is, it don't matter how much you think you know, you don't know it all.
That's real.
The losses will be unexpected. It'll be random. Like, and life is man, you, as long as, you know, you get to see another day, like, that's a win. So
Facts.
keep going.
So, quick question, man. Give me a rundown, and it's going to be a two-part. Give me a rundown of a day in your life, the week of an event, and the day in your life after the event has been done.
So the first question was what?
A rundown of a day in your life, the week of an event, a big event.
I
For
might
you.
have to just start doing behind the scenes on those ones. So a day of my life. So when I first started, a lot of the things I was doing was like social media based. So the old me, I could sleep all day. I'd be at the crib, I could do nothing. But now, you know, I have businesses that require physical attention, like the restaurant, for instance. So when we first opened, you talking about, like, my schedule. When we first opened, like, let's say you open at like 10. You're not gonna be there at 10. You gotta prep and, you know, get the store ready and stuff like that. So let's say my day might start at 8 a.m. at that point, and then if we close at 10 p.m., you never get out at 10. You finna get out at 10:30, 11. So it's like 8 to 11, Monday through Sunday at first. You know, when you first start the business, like, you're the worker. You're the, you know, that if you need a cook, you're the cook. You the mopper. And, bro, I started washing dishes. I feel like I feel bad. I'm like, bro, I'm washing dishes at a restaurant. Like, this is bad. But that's like, it's part of it. Like, that's what you sign up for. Because guess what? If I'm not washing the dishes, I'm going to just cost someone for 2 hours to wash dishes and pay them. That takes away from my business.
Facts.
So I got to make the sacrifices. And, you know, business taught me sacrifices. So a day in my life now is just, you know, at this point, I have so many things going on, especially like when it's about to be March is the busiest time. So now you got the restaurant, you got, you know, the events, and I have multiple events. One of them is a festival. Then, you know, I have my other regular events. Then I have the brunch. So it's just like you making sure you're on top of everything. So it's like I don't always have a structured day because I feel like I wake up, I know I have to do everything. Like, so just get it done, you know? And people tell me all the time, like, probably write notes and da-da-da. I'm the type of person, like, I always get it done anyway. So I always figure it out. But it's probably better to have a set schedule. But, you know, a lot of it, once you become used to it, it's the same thing you're doing every day. Like, you've done it before. So at the end of the day, like, you know, just do the same thing or be better. And then, you know, keep going. So a day in life for me right now is just, like, I'm everywhere. It's random. Like, I wake up today and go out of town and promote. So it's like I don't have a set like schedule, but I'm working more than a 9 to 5. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you started off the restaurant. Where did that come from?
So the restaurant, rest in peace to my mom. The first restaurant we opened was about a year and a half ago, or so. So what it was is, to be honest, my brothers are chefs, and you know,
Blood brothers.
Yeah,
Okay,
my real
cool.
brothers are chefs. Like, they've been working at restaurants, you know, creating menus for restaurants for like over almost 2 decades. So then my older brother is the first entrepreneur in the family because he's older than me. I'm the like modern entrepreneur. So I'm the entrepreneur that like just have like 6 businesses and just try everything, right? So my whole thing is I always try to teach my brothers, like, you know, these people that you're working for and you know, being a chef for, at the end of the day, they're using your talent to make their income, and you still can't really take care of your family. So the reality of it, you know, like, I look at my scenario, you know, I grew up coming from the Caribbean, seeing my parents work hard to, you know, make ends meet while I could sit at home and make money from the internet. So I'm like, bro, like, you just trading your skills and your talent for bare minimum. So I always try to get in their head, like, you know, let's, you know, start our own thing. And then one of my older brothers, you know, he eventually like really was into that. And then, you know, we came together and then we opened that first restaurant, which ironically was like a month after my mom passed away. And, you know, it was a hard situation because, you know, she didn't get to see what we, you know, spoke about all those time. But the reality of it, like, you know, I still had to go through it. I still had to make it happen. And that motivated me, you know, like it didn't really like let me down. It was hard for sure, like waking up and realizing like, damn, the person that always believed in you is not there. But, you know, I realized like that's part of the journey. And even now, like rest in peace to T, you know, going to the second restaurant, one of my homegirl, Tiaja, she, you know, was one of the ones that was designing the restaurants with me, and she literally built that restaurant. And, you know, unfortunately we lost her. And, you know, now that's on my second store. So imagine back to back. And I realized I'm like, dang, like this entrepreneurship, you know, people don't know that side or don't see that. And that's what we go through, you know. And it's like, especially when you're losing people close to you, it's different, you know, like it's not part of the plan. It's not part of the process. But I guess, you know, ultimately you have to use that as like motivation to, you know, keep going. It's hard, but, you know, the reality of it, that experiencing that, you know, let you see like life is short, life is real, and whatever you're going to do it now while you're here, while you have the time, because at the end of the day, like we don't have infinity time.
Facts. And, you know, the biggest thing is it's crazy to being an entrepreneur. First, sending my condolences to both you and for your mom and T as well. And it's crazy because you can work for a company, you know, you can claim that you have that emotional distress. They'll give you the PTO, they give you whatever, but the entrepreneur route, like you have to go through that, and the world continues to keep going.
Yeah,
like
the one thing I could say really, when people, I think people just don't really like to like gamble on themselves, and that's why I'm glad I've like even though gambling in Vegas is not good, it taught me a lesson too. Like if I won, I would like imagine I'm gambling 20,000 to win 100. If I won 100, would I be mad? No. If I lost 20, would I be mad? Hell yeah, like nobody want to lose. But the reality of it, it was for the purpose of, damn, like I wanted to run up a bag to go invest. So I ain't mad. Like it sucks, but at the end of the day, invest in yourself, gamble on yourself, because if you really do the math, you look at, okay, retirement, they gonna give you this, give you that. Like do some research. Everybody got Google. The amount of money you know, they taking from Social Security and all that, you'll never be able to get that money back realistically for real. It's a portion that they're giving you. And I think like, you know, read some books, like, you know, educate yourself, and you'll really realize like you get finessed. So,
Facts.
You know, like learn a skill, learn a service, you know, go to trade school. Like, and that's the thing I wish I learned when I was in high school. I didn't know nothing about trade schools, you know, like you could learn something that could make you money right away. Like, and that's the thing. All of my closest friends, like growing up, went to college. They came out broke, and seeing me like being an entrepreneur with a, you know, my businesses, and I'm like, you in 30,000 debt, I'm 30,000 up.
Damn. Yeah, but me and Knowledge talk about that shit all the time, bro. Like, beyond the networks, bro, it's like, bro, you go to school, they get that bag off you, literally to the point where, you feel me, if you don't pay it, they can come after you in terms of like collections or whatever. And it's like, I ain't gonna like hopping into entrepreneurship. I'm like, bro, I feel like the same amount of time that I dedicated to school to graduate, if I would have dedicated that 4 years to a skill and just practicing marketing that skill and becoming valuable to other clients, would have been ran that up.
You know, it's crazy though. My bad for cutting you off.
No, you're good.
Like he said, right? He was saying networking. They don't have a networking class in college, but that's the thing. College is resourceful beyond the classroom.
Facts.
So think about how much kids in that classroom, their parents have a Fortune 500 company, and they're not even, you know, leveraging their parents. So shoot, get close with them, and like get to know their parents, leverage their parents. Like networking is key. Like I just wanted to, you know, kind of like point that out, like because he mentioned it. But like networking is, you know, it'll get you through doors that, you know, just it's a different opportunity. You know, when you network versus like just relying on a degree, like it ain't the same, man. And, you know, I've seen both sides of it. I have friends who are doctors. I have friends who are lawyers. I have, you know, friends who are nurses. And I have friends who's making, you know, money different ways. But the reality of it, at the end of the day, you know, if you network, even in the work field, you could, probably get a bigger bag. Like one of my first jobs, it's crazy. One of my first jobs, I think I only had 2 jobs in my life, was I worked at a pharmacy. I knew nothing about medicine, right? My sister, like, real true story. My sister was like, you want a job? I was like, no. She was like, why not? Like, you don't got a job, you're not doing nothing. I'm like, I think this party thing's going to work. And then it wasn't working at the time. So I was like, I bet. You know what? I'm still fine. I don't got no bills, but I'll take the job anyway. I took the job, right? And I went for an interview. Like, other people was going to the interview with suits on and all of that. I went, like, regular stuff, like, nothing, too crazy, not too dressed up. There was people in Sunday clothes. I'm like, damn, this is a pastor or something? And at the end of the interview, right, they're like, you got your ID? I'm like, no. They're like, you got your social security card? I'm like, no. I'm like, why are you asking me that? They're like, you got the job. I was like, I got the job? Like, this was an interview? like, you know what I mean? Like, It wasn't even an interview for me. Why? Because my sister worked there for like 5 years. She's a great worker. They loved her. The manager like loves my sister. So guess what? She thinks she's getting my sister. She thinks she's getting me out of. I'm like, shit, I've never done this. Like, and she didn't even ask me if I've done it. And I realized I'm like, bro, I'm here dealing with people with medication. Like seriously, like I'm filling people medication.
All about who you know.
And it's funny, and I finessed my way into getting paid more than people that's been there too.
Damn.
So I did both. I was like, damn, like this is crazy. Like it's just if you, know how to talk, you know the right people, you're gonna get that job, no interview.
Facts. Hey, so I wanted to bring this up. Closer to this ending part, right? So, Vivid Music Festival. I want you to tell us about it, man. It's big. I didn't see you. And you literally, I want to actually put this on camera. Shout out to my boy here. My boy literally on a quick trip was traveling all through Florida, actually past Florida because you hit Atlanta too.
Yep.
And still was able to pull up. So we want to say thank you on behalf of the Mic Check Show for sure.
No, for sure. It's a pleasure.
Definitely, give us a rundown. How y'all thought about it? How that's going? What are your expectations for it?
So that really came. So last year we did Spice. We went Caribbean. This year, we was trying to go Caribbean again, but the Caribbean artists and they booking rates, it just didn't make sense. And also, we wasn't able to land the artists we really wanted to land. So it was like, okay, we're gonna go hip hop. So that is new for us. But the reality of it is just it's all about elevating, right? Like I've said earlier, it's just like I don't want to be in the same place. Like if I already tried something else, like I'm cool with trying something new because at the end of the day I could always go back to the Islands Fever and booking the right artists that I want to book. So that's in my back pocket. You could always make that move. So Vivid really. Since we have the brunch, Vivid Brunch, that's like was our grown and sexy event, 21 and up. And then the festival was just like, it's funny because it was coming up with names and stuff. I was just like, you know what? Like, I wanted to kind of be a runoff of that because that event is brewing so hot right now anyway. I was like, you know what? I want to make my job a little bit easier. So I kind of was like, okay, let's just go that route. And to me, it's a dope name and everything. And the branding was already there. So I was like, you know what? Like, it's a lot easier to start, running off something you already built and then, separate it than to start something completely new. But that idea was we just wanted to do something big this spring break. And, we booked Tusi and No Cap, and we have a bunch of, we got Mellow Racks on there right now too. And we got Lou Baby. We got a couple artists, Soldier Kid. It's nice. Crazy. We're really like adding more artists now. So, I'm waiting to confirm the other ones. But it was just like that elevation stage, because we look at like Rolling Loud, and what they're doing is dope. But, let's be serious, like, they have the resources, and they have the connections. But at one point, I'm pretty sure they started from, somewhere. But what it is for me, to be honest, the bigger picture is there's no black man like really running the festival world besides the celebrities. Like the regular people's, like they probably become the rapper, but not the one, behind the festivals. And the crazy part is, it's the black rappers that, these people are booking for these big shows. So I was like, like nothing is, impossible. So like I wanted to challenge ourselves to like why we could be the next Rolling Loud or the next Afro Nation. Like why not? So that's really that idea was just like we've been doing it. and it was an elevation move. You know, it was just like, what else could we do? You know, like we could do a regular party, we could do, you know, the brunch, which we're doing regardless. But at the end of the day, like, since we didn't, you know, get to do the island route, we're just like, let's do hip hop. And once again, it's just investing in yourself. You got to gamble on you first.
How long do you see yourself doing the events? Like years in the future, or do you have like a deadline? Like at this age, I'm gonna stop doing events and do this instead.
It's crazy. Like I know people, you know, who's been doing it longer than me, who's like 55, 50 plus, and they're still doing it. I think what it is at the end of the day, you just have to have something for everybody. We have a 21 and up event, you know, with the brunch. We have our 18 and up events. We have Ice Fever. Now we have the festival. So like the way that I really try to plan everything is just like, you know, eventually, you know, we're going to have something weekly. It's just like, as long as you could be innovated, at the end of the day, like, you're not going to stop doing something that's making you money.
Facts.
So to simply answer that question, shit, the moment something's just completely making me take L's, I probably wouldn't want to do it anyway. But that's if it's a consistent L, like if I'm losing way more than I'm winning. But I never plan on stopping anything. I just always try to find a way to make it better or to elevate or be greater or, you know, whatever. And I think the events really is more than just a party, you know what I mean? Like, it's impactful. Like, some people, you know, they be having a bad day, a bad week. They come to one of my events and, you know, that might change their whole mood or whatnot. And I've actually had a story like that before where someone came to one of our events and there was, you know, kind of on the suicidal, you know, mood. And they literally told me, they was like, yo, like, thank you. And I'm like, well, for what? And they're like, you know, your event, like, got me through this stage. I'm like, what? And that's kind of made me start looking at events like it's more than the money, you know? Like,
Facts.
you know, it's a risk we all take. Even when we leave our house, it's a risk. But at the end of the day, like, you know, imagine being able to bring a bunch of black people together and they don't kill each other. That's lit. Like, I think it's, you know, it's beyond the finance. And I'm going to keep doing it as long as God bless me to be able to continue to do it and to be successful at it, you know, for the most.
What's the type of legacy that you want to leave behind? Like, let's say you're gone from this world. They're going to be like, all right, Mr. Addiction was boom.
I want Mr. Addiction was impactful, you know, like Mr. Addiction was there, you know, and a lot of people, you know, that's a good question. They don't, you know, look at it from the perspective of the impact that they have on people. I want to make sure, you know, I'm an impactful person. And, you know, that's the greater picture of it all. Like, I'm really a people person, you know. People might see all the moves and stuff I'm doing and might think, you know, I'm not, you know, that type of people person, like, you know, but I could relate to almost everybody's situation. You know, I've been through a lot myself. And it's just, you know, we might not publicize it, but the reality of it doesn't mean I haven't been through it.
Facts.
But I just know it's part of my journey. So at the end of the day, like, if I'm that impactful person, you know, once I'm gone, people, you know, I learned something from me. I think I would, you know, pretty much smile in heaven, like, damn, like, you know, what I was doing helped someone else or whatever. Like, I think impact is you know, key. Impact sometimes is more important than income.
Facts. One of the things I also want to ask you as well, let's say time traveling, you see your younger self. What are you telling him? That doesn't spoil the future, though.
No?
So it could be some advice, it could be some wisdom. You can't spoil the future, but what are you telling him?
Like my younger self? Damn. So we traveling in the future right now?
We're traveling. Actually, how about we'll say your younger self traveled in the future and met you at Publix.
Oh, my younger self traveled in the future. My younger self would probably, like, give me some motivational speech or something. Like, you know, and that's the thing. Like, I'm very big on, you know, pushing myself. So, like, I feel like my younger self was a hustler. And you know, he'll probably tell me, like, yo, like, keep going.
Facts. What would you tell your younger self anything?
My younger self, to be honest, like, nobody's perfect. So, like, I never look at life like a regrets. Like, I try to live my life where, you know, I'm good. Like, I could sleep good at night knowing, you know, I didn't do nobody dirty. Like, I don't intentionally do anything bad to people. So, to me, you know, like, I think that's big. Like, a lot of people, you know, they want to make it so bad. They want to make so much money. Like, they don't know how to be a good person. And it's, like, weird. You putting money over being a good person. You never really last. So, I think I just been blessed, you know, like, to the point where, of course, you're going to have haters. You're going to have people that don't like you. But the reality of it, Like, I don't think I have anybody that don't like me that could really give you a valid reason. And, like, they'll tell you why they don't like me. You'll be like, bro, what?
Facts. So, shit. We want you to leave some gems for the people as we're getting ready to run. We want you to just, leave some gems, leave some things on that, shit, your future children can look back on this video and be like, damn, Pops is spitting that.
Leave some game. Well, rule number one, like, take your credit serious.
Facts.
Like, I wish I knew that sooner in life, but I'm glad I figured it out. Like, take your credit serious. Like, it is not even as complicated as people think, like, and I think that's the myth. Like, people make credit, like, seem so difficult, and we probably could have a whole nother episode on finance, to be honest. But, take your credit serious, number one, like, for sure. And money management, like, that's big. Like, it, a lot of people want to make six figures but can't manage $100.
Facts.
And to me, if you can't manage 100, you can't manage 1,000, and you definitely don't deserve 100,000. So, like, read books for sure. Keep yourself educated. Like, don't be a fool or a product to your environment. Like, to be honest, you can get out of any situation that you're in currently, and sometimes we don't even put ourselves in the situation purposely. And it's just once again, like, you're a product of your environment, but at the end of the day, you could change the product of your environment, your surrounding, and become a product of a better environment.
Facts.
And the other thing is, surround yourself around people who are better than you. Like, you don't have to be the most successful person. Like, I've made the most impact, made the most money, was the most successful when I had good people around me. Like, built a team, built a brand. Like, everybody want to be famous. Like, sometimes you got to build that brand, have that product, or provide that service. That's how you become successful. That's how you make money in life, is offering a service that's, better or different than what's out there. And, once you really do that and you stay consistent and dedicated to it, I feel like everything else kind of falls in place. Like, you'd be surprised that everything just works itself because you made the first moves, and you didn't just sit there and think, somebody had to do this for you. Because, to be honest, like, a lot of things when I first started, I didn't have a blueprint. I didn't have none of that. So that's why now, I could, provide mentorship. I could do certain things. And that's the other thing, like, pay for some mentorships. Like, people be making it seem, pay for the right one, because there's a lot of fake gurus out there. So don't just pay for some dumb stuff. But, try to learn it yourself. But I always tell people, like, mentorship is the accelerated route to success. Why? Because if you seen someone made six figures off something, like, they could show you the proof. Like, and that's just how I am. Like, you could show me, like, you made six figures from throwing a party. Okay, bet. But, you want to be a party promoter. What's the issue with paying someone to give you some gems? If you have to, because everybody don't know a successful party promoter. So at the end of the day, like, mentorships, like, and that's new to me. Like, I used to be like, I ain't paying nobody to teach me nothing because I could figure it out myself. But then I realized time is money. So if I could pay you to teach me something that's gonna make me six figures, I don't care if it costs 20,000, because guess what? I'm gonna make 100, so I'm still profitable.
Facts, man. That's some real game. Knowledge is on you, my brother.
Thanks for coming on the show, bro. We really appreciate it, dropping these gems and giving us like a history into your life. So I really do appreciate that. And everybody that's watching, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Subscribe to the Patreon if you want to see more episodes. Definitely follow us. And where can the people find you?
So
all your businesses.
I'm trying to remember all the pages. Mr. Addiction, that's my personal page, Mr. Addiction _. And then we got Addiction Kitchen, that's one of the restaurants. Then we got Addiction Bistro coming soon. Hopefully by the end of March or before, by my birthday or something. We have Addiction Financial, that's like on the finance tip. We got Addiction Clothing, that's on the clothing tip. That's gonna come back soon as well. We got Caribbean pieces right now. I think that's all that I want to cover for right now. But Mr. Addiction, most importantly, my link tree is in my bio. And, anything that you guys want to learn, or, if I know about it, or if I don't know about it, I probably know someone that know about it. Feel free to reach out. I appreciate you guys for having me. And, you guys are doing a great job. I'm very proud of, the stuff that you guys are doing. And, keep grinding and keep being consistent. And, you're going to be just as big as the other podcasts, to be honest. And, I appreciate the opportunity for sure. And, be blessed and, be safe and live your life and, be impactful and be a great person.
Say less. You know what we gotta do? One of these days, we definitely gotta get Addiction in like behind the scenes in his prime, just working the thing. We'll get that when the time comes. We love to collab those videos, but we're gonna show you like how this man really be hustling, bro. I promise you.
Scenes.
On God, man. Oh God. Well, there you man. We're getting ready to end this show. Appreciate y'all for showing the love. It's your boy SimbaTheSpeaker, aka the Nigerian Prince, aka Mr. Your Digs.
And this is Knowledge, also known as ShantiDaGoat.
And it's your boy, Mr. Addiction, Mr. Do It All, Mr. Everything, Mr. I got to connect if I don't do it.
And we see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Yes, sir. Boom.